The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored, and thank you for joining us tonight. Now, we're going to talk about something you may not be used to seeing: ladies or women with facial hair. It's a reality for some women. Hormonal disorders like hirsutism can cause women to grow excess hair on their back, chest, and face. My first guest falls into that category. Lauren Pratt is proudly rocking a beard today. Now, she originally was born here in Houston and grew up here, and now she's living in Orlando, Florida. But she didn't always feel confident about what some consider a masculine look.
So, Lauren, first of all, how have you dealt with this issue yourself?
Personally, so I grew up with knowing that I have a hormonal disorder since I was in high school. And I was a late bloomer of like going through puberty, and I was noticing that I was going through puberty a lot different than my peers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I first noticed the facial hair once it was pointed out to me by a classmate. And that kind of began the whole self-consciousness of why do I have hair, especially on this small patch of my chin and on several areas of my body. That kind of started the self-conscious, kind of wanting to hide the facial hair.
And of course, we know how cruel young people can be. Did you face any ridicule or, as they say, teasing in school as a result of that?
I wouldn't say that I experienced teasing. I don't think that I was easy to tease in high school.
Don't tell me you would whoop that ass, huh?
I mean, I want to put some hands on them, but I don't think it got to that point. I actually grew up in Houston, Texas, and I grew up in the Fort Bend County area. And I didn't get a whole lot of teasing, but I think that when you're a child and you notice something different about your body, when it's brought to your attention, then it's like, okay, I should is this bad? No one's telling me, no one's around me, especially women, is saying like, hey, this is actually common. Women go through this all the time. There's actually more symptoms out there than just your this outward appearance. Because of course we're talking about it because there's hair on my face, but there is a plethora of symptoms that women go through that are unseen. So that I wish that I saw that growing up. So that I can feel a lot better about myself and accepting myself.
So when you went to your parents or adults in your family and said, what's going on here? What kind of answers, or did they have answers for you?
Well, I didn't get answers until my mom and I went to the doctor. So I will say that my mom, I don't think that she's diagnosed, but I did know that she had, like when you grow older, your hormones change. She was always plucking her hairs underneath her chin. So I knew it was some normalcy around it, but we didn't really talk about it until we went to the doctor. When I was younger, the doctor let me know of terms like PCOS, hirsutism, hormonal imbalances. That's when I first learned that not only do we have testosterone and estrogen, but we have androgen too, which is the reason why I'm growing hair on my face. So no answers until we talk to the doctor.
And when did you decide to embrace it? Because obviously as a woman, you can always shave it off.
Yep. I went through years of shaving it off, waxing, all of that. But the point that I reached to it really accept it was this past kind of post-pandemic time where we were all forced to kind of just understand ourselves. I feel like most of us kind of reached that point. And it was 2022, actually, this recent summer. I just kind of sat with myself of okay, I have this beard. I'm at home all the time. Let me push the bounds a little bit. Let me figure out what is my opinion about my hair on my face. So I think little by little, I started challenging myself as I'm going out in public, challenging my own thoughts of where's my self-consciousness coming from? Where does it stem from? How I need to change the conversation I have with myself. We have those self-deprecating thoughts. And so I kind of just rerouted those thoughts and just let myself know it's okay, it's normal. And then I kind of got to a point where I'm like, I actually look good with a beard. So, it just stopped being my focus. And And I'm also like rebellious in a way. So it just worked out. And I'm still on that journey of understanding myself and fully accepting the duality of how I show up.
And when did you become comfortable with the term saying, I have a beard?
I'm still becoming comfortable with that, honestly. But this past September was PCOS Awareness Month, and around the beginning of September, before September, I knew that I was going to be using my platforms to speak about this, but I had to come to terms with, when are you ready? So I believe September, I was truly ready. I recorded a video of me just talking and not knowing that I was going to post it later, but it ended up being posted, and I felt strongly about the message and how I wanted to put it out there. And I got so many responses of women just reaching out, just saying, thank you. I've been dealing with this kind of closeted, trying to hide it as much as I can. And they've let me know of all the symptoms that they're just dealing with. And I was like, wow, like now I knew that was confirmation that it was time, because I got ready on my personal self. And when I introduced it to the public, it just was confirmation that it was time.
And so how has the public responded, or is that a big part of who you are concerned about the public?
I don't think I was ever concerned about the public.
It was all internal for you.
It was all internal.
Yeah.
I am a big advocate of just creating spaces where there aren't any. And I don't see, when I wanted to get comfortable with this, the first thing I did was Google, who are some women who struggle with some of the same things I struggle with? And I saw some faces that didn't look like me, but I saw two faces that did look like me. And it was beautiful Black women, one in the UK by the name of Rosina, and one in Montreal. And they were just, their whole advocacy was to normalize, meaning like remove the shame from body hair and just body hair positivity. So that I guess I was fed from those women. And so innately, I wanted to just like kind of do the same thing and just refuel the public of like, hey, this is what I'm going through. And these are the people who helped me, who inspired me. And I just wanted to be the same.
And what would you tell someone who hasn't reached the point that you're at yet, who may have the disorder? How would you tell them to move forward?
So first, I would say figure out how body hair, what does it mean to you? How does it make you feel? Pinpoint, if you are having like negative thoughts about it, where are those negative thoughts coming from? I'm not an advocate. I'm not saying, hey, women, grow your facial hair out or grow your hair out. I'm saying, women, however you show up proudly. I'm just a part of that cohort of women who have facial hair, but I would say take it a day at a time. I'm still in that process. The process is very long and drawn out, and it's going to take some time. And also, secondly, if I'm on number 2 or 3, but find your people who encourage you. Find your people who encourage you to just accept yourself. And I'm always able to talk to whoever, or, I respond back to certain comments of people I don't even know who's like, just thank you for just being a voice. I am ashamed of it, and there's no way I can be as public as you are, but thank you. So I would say just start a day at a time and find your people who encourage you.
There you go, Lauren Pratt. We appreciate your time, and thank you for encouraging and helping others who may need this assistance, who may be watching The Factor.
Way to go, Lauren Pratt. That is bravery.